everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. And today, the transfer deadline day is over, and all the saga and drama has finally come to an end. We have Sham with us, and we are going to do a transfer roundup with him. He's a diehard Manchester United fan, but he follows everything that happens in the Premier League. So, Sham, I'm going to throw it to you and open with what do you make of Manchester United's transfer season, and what do you make of the players that we've gotten and the deals we've gotten?
In terms of United's transfer window, it was a little less than shambolic because what we were thinking about, what United fans were dreaming about, clearly did not happen. And we've been have to adjust with whatever third choice, fifth choice, or Cavani, who wasn't even a choice because the guy was literally available since last 6, 7 months, and you end up him buying him on the last day with last 2 hours to go, 1 hour to go. So in terms of the United's transfer season, it's been shambolic. But in terms of the players we've added, Donny van de Beek, uh, good asset to the side, brings a little spark to the game. Cavani, as per se, if you talk about Cavani, he's a good player. Yeah, he'll add to the squad depth. He will probably get you a few goals here and there. Maybe, maybe not because the guy hasn't played football in the last 7 months. So you never know where that might put us in. But at least we've been crying about the squad depth for the last 6, 7 months. So that's been taken care of. But again, not really happy with the transfer season which we've had. I mean, now it's come to a point that every United fan is sounding like a broken record. What we've
Yeah,
been asking for and we've been getting nothing
yeah.
near to it.
Right. But Sham, you spoke about Donny van de Beek. Priyan, this is what I want to ask you about Donny van de Beek. We needed a Matic replacement, and we went and signed Donny van de Beek. Now, Donny van de Beek is a great player. His movement off the ball is probably the best in the team. But do you think not adding that Matic replacement is going to cost us in this season? Because we've seen in the Spurs game alone in 45 minutes, the man could not run anymore. So that we've not done. Sham spoke about Cavani on the last day. We got Amad Traore in on the last day, and he's not going to join till January because his work permit is not there. So, what does this board? So, do you think every signing that we've made is our second, third, or fourth choice, and there was absolutely no planning going into the season?
Planning is zero, and it's not even a second thought choice. It's just you can see it's all panic buys. There's no thought process into it. uh Cavani, like Sham said, he's been free for 7 months, but he's not been a part of the PSG setup for a year and a half now. They got an Icardi last season, and he's been their main striker. So he's been number two there. So if you waited till the last day to sign Cavani, I think I told you as soon as we heard the Cavani news. If this was 3, 4 years back that we were signing Edinson Cavani, I would have been jumping. But I don't know how he's going to play now. Coming to the fact, the Matic part, we needed a centre back, a CDM, and a right winger, and we've gone and strengthened every other position there is. We've gotten a striker, we've gotten an attacking midfielder, and we've gotten a left back where we had Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams playing. So again, I mean, there was no strategy, there was no plan that before the start of the transfer season, you sit down and you decide that you need these players, you're weak over here, and you get in. These are your 3, 4 options, and you get in these players. I don't see that, and that's going to cost us this season. It's going to be very hard.
I mean,
I
coming
agree.
to Alex, tell us if we've signed him. Although we say that we have Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams is not really close to a United player right now. I know he's young; he still need time to put some minutes under his belt and get that experience. But we needed a left back in terms of pushing Luke Shaw because towards the last end of the season, the way Brandon Williams performed, Luke Shaw might be in a comfortable space knowing that I really don't have any competition in terms of my starting lineup places secured. So if that addition of Tellus is a good thing in terms of it generates a little competition for starting places, and the guy has been doing good. At least he's been offering something going forward compared to what we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so Sham, that's a fair point. That's what I want to say is that Alex Telles is not a bad signing per se. Donny van de Beek is not a bad signing per se. Edinson Cavani
Yeah,
too
none
would
of
not have
these
been
are
a
bad
bad signing.
signings. None of these are bad
Exactly,
signings. Yeah, but I don't think
exactly.
these are players we needed right now. None of them are bad signings, but I mean that's what it is.
But you know what
I
I
mean,
want to
all the
get.
talk about Ole not wanting a player above the age of 28 and then
Exactly.
ending up loaning a 33-year-old striker and even Igalo. So these are all stopgap signings in an already stretched rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This rebuild has lasted 7 years, and finally, when Ole started getting the deadwood out, and we thought there is gonna be some changes in the structure coming in, it again comes back to one step forward, two step back because instead of a longer rebuild, it's again a stopgap signing which comes in and not really doesn't really lift the mood in the dressing room. I
yeah.
don't think an Edison Cavani would be the signing people would be happy to. I'm like, even the players, yeah, this is the guy, he'll get us the goals. Dude, half the season he was in the hospital, so
Yeah, very
I
well
But
mean, you
said.
Sham,
never know.
you mentioned players going out, right? This is also something I want to ask you. Players coming in, so we know our club is shambolic. How are we so bad in getting players out as well? Smalling didn't happen to the last day. Romero's wife has come out and said that we've treated him as shit, and I agree, we've treated him like shit. Forget that. Emi Martinez, who's played 10 games in the Premier League, has secured a 25 million pound move to Aston Villa. Romero, who's been considered as the best second choice keeper in the Premier League for like 7 years now, we weren't able to get out of the club. So what is the issue, do you think, in that side? Because if we get these players out, we'll free up funds, right?
It's
There's a clear lack of planning in terms of how we want to go about, and also the wages which we are offering to our players. No other club in the Premier League would be able to afford that. And Prasham, if I'm telling you that you are earning 200K a week, you're earning it by sitting at home doing nothing, not even on the bench. Why would you want to move, get a move, and then get a pay of 75,000 or 150,000 when you're easily getting something more than that, and especially after doing nothing? So that's where is the main issue because we've overvalued players too much. We've given the wage structure is such that getting rid of them is a real difficulty. That's the similar case with Chelsea. They couldn't get rid of a few players yesterday because of the same wage structure. Fortunately, Fulham managed to get Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Yeah, yeah. But Sham, what Chelsea is really good at doing is sending their players out on loan. And when they get a deal done, they get it done for a good price. They convinced PSG that David Luiz was worth 54 million. Right? Kepa Arrizabalaga is probably the only transfer you can think of in the past 10 years that they have massively overpaid for. They don't overpay. So there is something typically broken with the way we do our deals. We don't understand football, I get, but this is the business side of it. How does Ed Woodward not even understand that this player is not worth this much? Priyan, I understand the philosophy is broken, but how can you not ship players out? Like, Chris Smalling is not a bad player.
Yeah, it's exactly what Sham said. There's no planning, and as you said, I think the business side is the only thing that goes on nicely at United. And when it comes to transfers, they screw that up also. So I think the Smalling point was I didn't like that we sold off Smalling. Maybe he wanted to go and maybe he didn't want to play for United, but in the current scenario, he's probably better than all our centre back options right now. Be it Maguire, be it Lindelof, be it Bailly, be it anybody. So selling him off, um I don't know. I think the good thing was we got 20-25 million for Andres Pereira to be went to Lazio.
We
That's
might
He's
get.
on a loan.
we
We might.
might get we might get if
There's not even
Andres
an
Pereira
obligation
is
to buy.
exactly if Pereira
that's
is
gonna
able
be
to show he's worth 25 million. Oh my
it's gonna
days!
be
Apart
very
from
tough.
United, nobody will think that.
Yeah, it's gonna be very tough. So yeah, there's no planning. I don't know what
So
they sit down and they do before the transfer window opens. I think it's just having a glass of wine and let's get him,
No,
and
they actually talk about what hashtags to trend and
yeah,
which piano to buy
what
for
content will give
you
them
know,
get them more traction on social media.
and
which
Sham,
piano to
what
buy.
else they do is they open up they open up the new Twitter and they go and see, oh, Jadon Sancho is playing well. Everyone's talking about him.
Yeah.
Usko laate hai.
That's
Oh,
it.
Jadon Sancho can't come. Let's look at the next person who's there. Oh, Dembele is also doing. Let's bring him. Another good name. Oh, Dembele nahi ho sakta. Oh, let's get Ismaila Sarr in. Another good name. Oh, that's not possible. Cavani. Oh, everyone knows Cavani. There is no scouting. It's not. I can also watch TV and say that, oh, bring these players in. So what is the difference between me and the scouts? Where is the scouting? I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, look at the number of young players we've signed. Yes, you told me this when Angel Gomez was also playing 6 years ago. Where is Angel Gomez right now? Where is Tahith Chong right now? These guys aren't ready to come into the team. So what is that? So Shyam, have you seen Amad Traore play, and have you seen the Uruguayan striker Pelsetri, however you pronounce his name? I'm sorry, I don't know. Have you seen them play? And do you think they can actually make an impact in the squad? Because they are the young players who are going to come in the first team.
No, I actually heard their names for the first time yesterday because, of course, I haven't been following the Serie A to know about an Atlanta player.
He's just played for 25
He just
minutes.
played-
Even if you
yeah,
were
he just
following,
played
you would have
25
missed it.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, I initially thought spelling mistake है Adama Traore ही होगा.
मेरे को भी वही लगा था.
But yeah, that's that. Although we've talked about that, we've been buying young talent. The future is gonna be bright. But as far as if the managers keep changing, I don't see getting these young talent buying it right now, because we needed quick fixes right now, and you're already planning to fix 5 years down the line. I don't know
Then the
where we're
same
going to be
problem
5 years
is
down
there.
the
I think
line.
that's a
And
very good point
we-
that Sham makes. That I think it's been since Ferguson has retired, since Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm sorry. Since then, it's always been, we're going to be year 5 years down the line, year 10 years down the line. So it's never, we have problems right now. I don't know when that is going to be addressed. We're planning for a future, and we might not even be in a state to be playing these players there. We might be maybe a 12th place, 13th place team that time if we go on like this. So it's just very bad planning. Currently, we're in a very bad state.
looking at our fixture congestion, we needed players. We need meaningful squad depth. Although these players might add to the depth, is it meaningful? Maybe not. Is Cavani completely useless? No,
No.
but I don't know will he be able to have an impact what Bruno had on this team.
No.
We needed a Jadon Sancho. His arrival would have lifted the dressing room
With the dressing
that
room.
we have.
It's about the momentum which people don't
Yeah.
understand. And one side is that Man United is not making transfers. The other side is that every other club we are competing with are making transfers. Every other club has moved forward. Every other club has a world-class player in the top 8 teams or 9 teams in the Premier League. Every club has at least 2 or 3 world-class players that they've brought in this summer. So I want to get to that, Sham. Let's talk about Arsenal first. They pulled off an absolute coup last night by signing Thomas Partey for 45 million. They broke the bank. They gave him the release clause. They let Gunnosaurus go and save the money, and they got Thomas Partey. So what do you make of Arsenal's transfer season? Because they've got Willian, they've got Pablo Mari and Cedric Soares before, they've got Gabriel, they've got Danny Ceballos, who I rate very highly, they've got Thomas Partey. My fingers are going to be less if I start counting the other fringe players they've signed. So what do you make of Arsenal's season, and who do you think is their best signing?
First of all, Arsenal have officially made dinosaurs extinct now. They don't exist anymore.
I was
terms of
actually
the
very
size.
sad when Gunnosaurus left. I don't think that's how you should treat your mascot
Yeah.
of 27 years. But anyway.
But again, coming back to the transfers they've had. So again, this is like an Ole coming to United, Arteta coming to Arsenal, similar situation. And here, the manager has the backing of the board. He's come with a plan and an idea how we want to play, go ahead and do things. And the board has backed him with, okay, what do you want? What player do you want? Of course, if they're not willing to spend money, he's clearly backed Willian, who has a good Premier League experience and has always had an impact while playing for Chelsea.
Yeah.
So those players are good, especially coming on for free.
Yeah.
And the very first game he played had hat-trick of assists.
Yeah.
So in terms of Arsenal, the manager has the backing of the club. They have a structure in place. They have a planning, everything in place. Where do we see the club down the line? 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line. The guy came in and has won two trophies already.
Yeah, yeah,
So again, that's where the difference might be with Ole, because here now, since your manager has won something, he can inspire players to win something.
yeah.
Ole hasn't really won something apart from a league in Norway
Yeah.
as a
So,
manager.
Shyam, this is one question I was going to ask you anyway, now that you brought it up. Do you think, I know this is a little cynical as well, but do you think the fact that Ancelotti is Everton manager, Klopp is at Liverpool, Pep is at City, Jose Mourinho is at Spurs, these four heavyweight managers are in the Premier League, and do you think players are actually attracted because of that as well? Because as a player who's, let's say, 23, 24, would you rather be playing for a Pep Guardiola or a Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Of course, for a Pep Guardiola.
Right. So do you think that plays a role at all in the transfers, or do you think that has played a role in the transfers?
That has played a role in transfers previously as well. And also, even if you're talking about a player, give him an option to settle in Manchester or London. Of course, London will be the preferred choice of
Yeah.
destination in terms of it doesn't have to be Guardiola.
Yeah.
Even for Arteta, because that again comes into play. What city are you wanting to stay?
Yeah.
So there are many other things which come into play. But again, as I said, Manchester United have the pull only because we've been splashing cash in terms of wages for every player we want.
Yeah.
Sanchez was we were fighting with Man City for Sanchez.
Yeah.
Sanchez came to us because of the wages we offered, or else he would have been more than happy to play at Man City under Pep Guardiola.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So at end of the
Absolutely.
day, it's also the money and everything plays its own part. But again, what your whole as a player intentions are or the idea is, that again depends. The way the last three signings have come in and made a statement that we spoke with the manager, we are aligned with his ambitions for Manchester United, what he wants, and that's what inspired us. I don't know what really Ole spoke with them in terms of the vision which we have, especially when the manager isn't backed by the board to get the players he wanted. I don't know what exactly he told them to inspire them to come to United,
Right. Right.
apart from Cavani, who's been offered to every other club in Europe, and then we ended up buying him.
Yeah, and also these managers, legendary managers, Ancelotti, Klopp, okay, he's been a little more recent, but Guardiola, Mourinho, they've all been, for our generation at least, these are legendary guys. And a player coming up right now, he would any day want to play for a manager like this. You look at James Rodriguez, there's no way you would sign for Everton coming from Real Madrid if it wasn't for Ancelotti. So it's just, they have got pull, and it makes a big difference.
So let's move along to a manager that not many players want to play for, at least in my view. He's got absolutely no idea what's going on. And Chelsea, they've been able to sign seven players with Malanga Sarr going on loan, six first team players. The best transfer window, Sham, you'd say, out of all the clubs.
Yeah, hands down, the best transfer window. Of course, because they couldn't spend money for the last two transfer windows, I guess.
Yeah,
So they had enough in the bank, enough in the kitty to go out and make deals. But again, planning. As soon as the season finished, even before the season finished, they had players already in,
Yeah, Ziyech
yeah,
was done.
and the
Bono
way
was
the
done.
deals were done.
Yep.
Yeah, and the way the deals were done. So by the time the league started, the players had their practice, training, pre-season, whatever you want to call it, with the team they're gonna play with. So that again brings back to Cavani. The guy is available for 7 months. You could have got him in July so that he
yeah,
would have had a proper training with the team and he would have been playing the games right now.
absolutely.
Again, planning is where we lack, and Chelsea have done it brilliantly. Of course, they had a lot of money in the kitty since they did not spend
Yeah.
much in the last two transfer seasons.
But Chelsea's signings are also world-class players. If you look at the young talents that were available, and you tell me that which ones you'd go for, Timo Werner and Kai Havertz were probably in the top 5 talents that people
Easily.
were vying for
Easily.
before the season started.
Yep.
So, Priyan, this is my question to you: who do you think is going to be Chelsea's most impactful signing this season? Is it Werner, Ziyech, Chilwell, Thiago Silva, Havertz, or of course now Eduardo Mendy replacing Kepa, which could be the most important sort of thing that they've done?
From the limited games that I've seen that Chelsea have played, although he hasn't scored, but Warner looks really good. He's so quick, he's so sharp. His finishing is been a little off, I think, but I think he'll get on with it. But Warner, I think, is going to be a really good signing in the long run. He looks really good.
I agree. I am more excited to see Ziyech play, but I think Werner might be the sort of signing to get the goals and change their fate.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they didn't strengthen in the most important position. I keep saying this. They yet have Frank Lampard, and he is the one that will limit their growth. But Sham, I want to come to you with what I personally think have had the best season. And I think it's Everton, because
Everton.
Everton. You think about it. Everton have gone out and signed James Rodriguez, who's a world-class player. Allen is a great player. Dakure, okay, he's not that good, but he's good enough. He's decent. And yesterday, the business they've gotten Ben Godfrey from Norwich City, and they've got a Robin Olsen in to replace Jordan Pickford. And if that happens, Everton are a team to reckon with, don't you think, Sean?
Yeah, easily. They've Everton, considering the way they've started the season in the league, 4 wins in 4 games, and scoring goals left, right, and center. It's not that they've been struggling to beat teams. They've been scoring goals for fun, and that's what these new additions to the team has given them. So they might push Man United out of the top 4 or top 6 maybe. I mean, they are a side to reckon with, and if not top 4, I can see Everton finishing in the top 6, especially
Yeah.
with other clubs having the fixture congestion, and this club doesn't have that. They don't have a Europe or any other fixture to play for apart from the domestic leagues.
Yeah. That's a very
Definitely,
good
I
point,
think-
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Priyan, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think James Rodriguez has been so good, and he's a world-class player. He always has been. I think he wasn't in favor with Zidane at Madrid, so he didn't really get the games there. But he's been phenomenal. I think I really liked him since 2014. I think that's when he came up in the World Cup. But he's played for Bayern. He's played for Madrid. It's a great signing.
Yeah, and the other thing with Everton is yesterday they went out in the market and they plugged the 2 gaps that I think they're the biggest gaps. Because I personally don't rate Michael Keane at all. I think he's worse than Harry Maguire, and that's saying something. I don't rate Michael Keane or Yari Mina at all. Mina is okay, but Keane is horrendous. And Jordan Pickford, in my view, is as bad as Kepa was. The only thing that saves him that he's made one penalty save against Colombia in that World Cup. That's all that saves Jordan Pickford. But getting these 2 players in the door, I think strengthens their squad even more. And what Ancelotti is just going to do is going to tell Richarlison, DCL, James that you all go and play. You all just go and play. He's not going to stop them from playing that free-flowing, expansive football. And now they've got defensive cover for it. So I, for one, am very worried about Everton because. But the bright side is that if Everton can, even if there is a minuscule chance that they can win the league, I'm more than happy for them to do that. So talking about winning the league, what do we make of Thiago Alcantara and Diego Jota? And of course, they signed Kostas Tsimikas, or however you pronounce his name. Liverpool signed them. But do you think Thiago Alcantara, Sham, walks straight into the first 11 of Liverpool?
Yeah, he has the experience, he has the talent. I mean, of course, what the squad they already have, and getting inside that starting 11 is a little difficult. But in terms of the talent and the experience that guy brings in, he can definitely walk into any starting 11 in the Premier League.
In the world, I would say. He could just walk in.
But Sham, my question is, whom does he replace? Because ideally, I'd replace Jordan Henderson for Thiago, and I'd yet play Gini Wijnaldum, because Gini Wijnaldum has that component where he brings goals.
So those are the only 2 positions he probably replaces. But again, you think maybe more for Gini Wijnaldum, because Henderson gives that work rate to Liverpool, which they sometimes need to break through those lines. So that's what it is. But he easily walks into that team. Again, coming back to Liverpool, when we've been talking to a few Liverpool friends, and they've been straight up denying that they weren't seeing any signings coming through this summer because the owners didn't really want to splurge cash in the market, and their financial situation is maybe far worse than what a club like United has. But even after that, they went on and added three decent signings. One, Thiago is a very good signing to get. So even club which has won the league has earned enough cash by winning the league and still didn't was hesitant to spend out. They managed to do decent business in this transfer season, to be quite
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. So now I just want to talk about a couple of Man City players, Sham, with you. Ruben Diaz and Nathan Ake. I just want to get a sense from you, worth the fees?
I don't think so. I don't know what the problem with City is. Guardiola has ended up spending more than 400 million pounds only on the defense.
Hmm.
410 or 411 million pounds only on the defense.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't know what exactly is the problem, and they wanted to get rid of Eric Garcia, but could not last night. But not really worth the price, I guess.
yeah, yeah. Eric Garcia anyways has
And
only
and
1 year left.
in my personal opinion, I don't give two hoots about the valuation of a player. As long as the club has the money to spend, I don't care how much they're spending on a player. Even
Right.
if it comes to Man United or any other club in the world, I don't
Right.
care. It's not my money.
Yeah. So, so quite simply, City have not signed those many players this season, but they yet have splurged the cash, of course. Priyan, one last team that we need to cover is Tottenham Hotspur. I think that they've made very smart buys in the likes of Højbjerg, Reguilon, Dorothy, and bringing Bale back is that momentum lifting buy that
Yeah,
we've been talking
definitely.
about. And Carlos Vinicius, I don't know much about. He's statistically he looks good, but I haven't seen him play, so I won't comment on that. But why do United not sign these players like Højbjerg, who are on the cusp of making the step up to the big leagues? Højbjerg was right there. He's been Southampton captain. He's played well. He was on the cusp. Dorothy was on the cusp. Why do we not sign any of these players anymore?
I think this is you can't ask a question like this. Why does United not do something? You could just go on and on. There could be so many reasons. I think it for me it comes down to the fact that we're not there's planning is not there. We're not sort of I don't know. We're not into football. If it makes sense, it's just I mean
Manchester United is not a football club; it's a business.
yeah, it simply boils down to that. If they don't see market value in a player, I don't think they'll go and get him. I think it's Cavani proves that. I think that's all that it matters to them. They don't care
Yeah.
about the footballing aspect at all.
Big South American market, the jersey sales
Yeah,
will be up the
that's
roof.
it. Done for the season.
So, guys, now I have one final question for you all before we
No,
wrap
but
up.
again, coming
Yeah,
back
yeah, sure.
to the signings Spurs have made, they've gone ahead and strengthened the squad yet again. Jose is being backed by the manager, especially someone as shrewd as Daniel Levy is, and he's managed. It might be stopgap signings, two loan players, Gareth Bale coming back on loan. It's fine. At least it's gonna be a step up from last season
Yeah,
Yeah,
when United haven't got a player they wanted, and we've ended up buying for the future. We I don't. It will be tough for us to retain the third spot, and we'll probably go down the table. So we are not building on from the momentum of last season. This is exactly when the manager needs the backing of the club, so that we've reached here now. Let's
exactly.
add something and let's move a little closer to Liverpool City, and then try and compete with them. But again, we might not even make it to top four this season.
right. Right. I can't agree more with you, and it pains me, but I have to agree. What else am I going to do? Just one final thought. Sham, in in 2 words, best signing of the season in the Premier League so far.
James Rodriguez.
Yeah, Priyan.
Yeah, I think it's the same. I think I told you before also. He's just been
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I
I
mean, the
agree. I
impact
agree.
he's had at the club is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely. I agree. So thanks for joining us, guys. There are a few other signings like Timothy Castagna, Nelson Semedo. All of these are great signings for that particular club. But as United fans, at least for now, we don't consider these clubs to be our direct competitors. So thanks for joining, Shyam. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to our channel and like the video. There's a lots more coming in this international break, and then of course when the season starts as well. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you soon.